Well, thanks everyone for joining us for our webinar today. We are going to go over some new features and the newest release and how those things can help you. And so I want to introduce everyone to Matt Nash, who is our Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Nero. And he is going to take us through and just share a little bit about what's new with Nero. Just want to let everyone know that we are being recorded, and so our goal is to be able to put this up on the website afterwards for those who missed it. And at any time on your little panel on the right there, there's a place to put in questions. If you want to send in a question, we'll have time for some questions and answers at the end of the webinar. So you can hold on the line after as well, and we can go through some of those questions. We won't answer them throughout the presentation. We'll do it all at the end. So I'll turn it over to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Barb. And good morning to everyone on the West Coast, and good afternoon to everyone on the rest of the continent. First off, I just wanted to kick off today's session and reiterate, as you hear from our team all the time, thank you so much for being our customer. Here at Nero, we truly view our customer relationships as partnerships. And this relates to one of our core values here at Nero, which is to continuously improve. We are continuously improving not only our internal processes and operations here at Nero, but also our external factors. That's why we're here today. We're going to introduce and talk about some of the new product and features and functionality in our system that we brought out recently. We are always striving to continuously invest in making your business more profitable. So to that end, today we just wanted to introduce a quick few topics, give a high-level overview on our Google Maps release that happened just late last year, some enhancements that we've had to route log and historical reporting right on map view, and then a new report as well, the proximity report, which was released just last Thursday. And the objective of today's session is to, like I said, give a high-level overview on it. Just to introduce you to the topics, as Barb said, if you have any questions, please feel free to fill them out in the question box in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you'd like any more in-depth training on these topics or anything else, please feel free to always call us or email us, and we can go into a more in-depth one-on-one training with you then. So without further ado, let's jump right into Google Maps. You're used to Google Maps. You've seen it. They have definitely become the gold standard in mapping, and we're highly pleased to be able to bring that right into your portal. There's no doubt that they have high-quality mapping. If you're like most, you may have even seen the Google Maps vehicle driving around, and they are continuously improving their mapping, both with photographs of street views, their data sets, etc. And they've also made it a very visually appealing system as well. It's what you're used to when you go to maps.google.com, now right in the platform. It also gives us, and this is a bit of techno speak here, allows it to be a platform for growth. And what that really means to you is that as we move forward, we're able to add in some new features and tricks into the system, which really make it more usable, and you're able to get more out of our mapping. There's a few listed there on the screen, and we'll go ahead and just give a quick demo now of our Google Maps implementation. So I've switched over to the portal, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up Map View. I'm going to make this as big as possible on your screen. So if you're used to before, when we were on MapQuest, very similar setup. On Map View, you've got controls over on the right-hand side and the map on the right-hand side. As a best practice, I always like to collapse this left-hand side, there's a little double arrow there, and really have the map take over as much of the screen as possible. Many of our customers have this up on a dispatch screen, and you can then use as much of that real estate as possible. Another thing I always like to do as well is to turn on declutter. And this is something that we've enhanced through our Google Maps implementation in a number of ways. Let me go ahead and turn that on. What that did was, if you'd notice, there were a few vehicles on top of each other, and now it's gone ahead and moved them apart and created these leader lines. So now I'm able to click and drag and move these away and maybe create a little bit more space. What's nice now with Google Maps is we've already taken feedback on this feature and changed the way the layout works and made it work better for a lot of our customers. And so that's going to be a continuous theme sort of throughout this presentation. Just as we said, ask questions at the end. We also encourage at all times to give us feedback on our system. This is your system. Like I said, we're always continuously improving it. And the best way to do that is tell us directly what we can do. And like I said, we had recently visited a customer and taken some feedback on decluttering. And one of the things we added in relatively recently was the ability to change the size of these labels on the vehicles. Now, this generally was the default size. But what happens when you're up on a big screen, the labels become a little bit harder to read. So you can go ahead and click on them and make them as big as you'd like. Another thing that we were able to add in with Google Maps is, of course, Street View. So if I go ahead and click on any one of these icons and it brings up an information box on it, now you'll be able to see the Street View box. Simply go ahead and click on that. And you'll be able to see the street view of where that vehicle or person or asset is currently located. This is the same street view as you're used to from using Google Maps and other parts of your life embedded right into our system. If you ever want to get out of that, just simply go right down to the bottom left-hand corner, click on Back to Map, and then it zooms back out again. We've kept some of the functionality that you'd liked in the former mapping, such as zoom to rectangle. So I'm going over here to the control panel on the top right-hand side, and I'm just going to click and drag into this area and zoom in. I can also double-click and get in a little bit closer. What I wanted to show, too, is not only do we have the aerial view of satellite imagery of areas, as you come in and zoom in a little bit more, let me take one more zoom in, you now get this bird's eye view as well. And we'll get this mostly in urban areas and other dense populated areas. But this bird's eye view enables you to see just a little bit more definition of buildings, etc. And that is literally, you see you've got this leader line. This is literally where this person is located down here on this street over on Pender Street. I'm just going to go ahead and zoom back out and give a little more perspective. So the basic gist here is with our system, we've got the same functionality that you're used to, but we've overlaid it and added in more. And as I said, this is the platform for growth. We do have an immediate feedback button listed here on the screen. This isn't just for the demo purposes of today. That's always in our system. If you ever click on this button, that'll pop open a submit feedback, and this feedback comes directly to us. It's been great. We've had lots of customers use it so far, and I encourage you to use that in any part of the system when you're working away, you're in that context, just send us that feedback right then and there. Now I'm just going to flip back. The next thing I wanted to introduce was a new way to view historical locations for your vehicles right on the map view itself, what we call the route log on map view. So the challenge that we saw from customers was that everyone is more and more time and resource constrained, And although it may only take a few seconds, button clicks equals wasted time. Not only, if you were looking at a real-time location of a vehicle and then you wanted to view where it been historically, not only did you have to remember the name, but you had to click into reports, find a report, and then find that date that you were looking at. So the solution to that is straight from map view. By clicking on a vehicle, you can now see the historical locations of that vehicle. So let's go ahead and demo that. I'm going to bring up that same map view that I had before. Zoom back out again, and I'm going to pick on our install vehicle here. As you can see, this is the same pop-up where we had Street View and other real-time location information, but there's a new little icon here in the top right-hand side. I hover over it and it says Show Route Log. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And that simply brings up a new tab right in the map view window. I'm just going to go back and pull up the data for yesterday. And now what it shows on your screen is the quick snapshot of where this vehicle traveled for a certain day. We've also taken it and we've eliminated a lot of the extra fluff from the report, meaning a lot of the extra icons. So there are still, it still does show the path that this vehicle traveled, but exception alerts are shown in with different icons, such as alarm events, driver behavior, power events, and state events. And state events are when the ignition was turned on or off, if the vehicle started to move, etc. But it really helped clean up the map and kind of just distill down where you saw this vehicle travel today. And as you can see, it's got a nice arrows indicating the direction it's gone. This vehicle started here down in South Surrey, drove over and kind of did a circular route around the metro, a lot of the Metro Vancouver yesterday. And as always, you can go down to the bottom portion of the screen and look at the exact addresses. So say I wanted to scroll along and see exactly where this address is. I'm just going to go ahead and click right here, and then it will go ahead and zoom the map right into that location. So there's a lot of different ways you can now interact with this map. If you'd like to see more of the address information, just simply click on the up arrow, and you'll see all of the street addresses on the screen. Or maybe I want to shrink that down, and I want to see only the map on the screen. So just a nice, quick, and easy way to be able to see historical locations of your vehicles. I'm going to flip back. Now I wanted to talk about the third thing we had on the agenda for today, and that's the proximity report. And the challenge or issue that we had heard from customers was it was hard to verify which vehicles drove by a location at a specific time or which vehicles quickly congregated at a location. This can come up when, such as a vehicle accident, and someone says, well, I saw one of your trucks, I saw ABC Plumbing in an accident, and they drove away. They don't have any indication of which license plate it was or vehicle number or anything like that. And so it would have taken a lot of hunting and pecking to go through and find that data historically. It also comes into play when you're working at a job site and maybe you quickly arrived or departed. For those of you in more governmental services such as snow plowing or garbage pickup, you wanted to see, did I go and stop at those locations? Did I visit those locations and do the job that we were supposed to? So now the solution to this is using the proximity report. The proximity report allows you to see all vehicles that either stopped at or just drove by a location with one simple report. going to flip back my screen here and click on Reports. The new proximity report is listed under Location Reports, third from the top. I'll click on that. And what we would start with here is an address. And you can see the address is listed here in the top portion of the map. So I am going to type in 264th Street. And as you can see, as I type, suggestions come up. So if you don't need to complete the whole address, you can just simply select it from the list here. So it's gone ahead and found this address. The default now, the default radius where I'm going to look is this circle. It's set to 200 meters. But I can simply go ahead and click and drag this. Make it a little bit bigger. Maybe encompass all of this, this freeway exchange. I'm going to even make it go just a little bit bigger there. Now I want to give it an approximate start date and start time. So I'm going to go back to yesterday, and which one of my vehicles traveled by here around 4 p.m. on February 10th. You can go ahead and select, do you want to search all of your vehicles or just a subset of different item groups. I'm going to leave it at all. Click on Search for Items. And now I can see that it's picked up a few vehicles here. Not only has it picked up one vehicle in multiple locations, I'm going to switch my screen here and you can see that there are 2 vehicles that visited this location. So both the install van TB and install van TB2. And I can simply switch between the 2 of those and bring both of those up onto the map. That is what we wanted to present today. And very quick, we know that your time is valuable, and we want to be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Barb Stearns and see if we've got any questions here. Let me just pull up the question box.
Thank you, Matt, so much. That's great information, even for me. So I do have a couple of questions here, if we can look at. You can see if you've got any there as well. I just noticed we had a question about when we are on the historical information from our map, the route log right off of the map. Up in the top right-hand corner, there's a bit of a color legend. And there's different, it says there's alarm events, driver behavior, power events, and state events there. Could you just explain a little bit more about what those things would be?
Sure, absolutely. So the most common icon that you'll see on the screen are these little gray dots. And this is simply just locate points as the vehicle is driving down the road. The sort of turquoise color here called state events is whenever the vehicle started moving, stopped moving, if it had an ignition on or off. So it really sort of triggers the or shows when I guess a start and end to a trip is the best way to say it. And so this just kind of bookends where your trips have happened on your map. Alarm events shown here in red, or other things such as was there a zone alert, or an arm where parked alert, things like that, things that maybe generally don't happen on a typical trip, but we do want to report them on the map. And driver behavior, for those of you with devices that can report harsh braking, hard cornering, and acceleration, those events, including speeding, will be reported through that orange color. And power events would be such as a vehicle cut, power cut or power reset to the device itself, maybe indicating a battery issue with the vehicle or a potential tamper.
Great. Thank you so much. Another question I've got here about when we're looking at the proximity report there, are there any other ways to see historically where a vehicle has been?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And the proximity report is great in that it'll capture every single location point that comes into our system and search the vast database and show those points on the map. If you're looking for more of how long someone has been on a job site for, how long they've stopped there for, we can go back and use one of our traditional reports, such as a stop report or landmark summary. And each one of these reports would go ahead and show how long a vehicle has actually stopped at a location for. And we'll show that for your entire fleet if you'd like. So the proximity report really is meant for those either when start and stops aren't generated, such as garbage pickup, snow plowing, or just when people are driving by a location. Maybe they're hopping in and out of their vehicle quickly, and we want to get that total view of where vehicles have been.
Great. Good. Well,
So
I don't have any.
I don't have any other questions on my board.
Okay.
I don't know if any are showing up on yours, Barb, but if not, we can wrap things up.
Yeah, no, I don't have any others as well. So feel free to give us a call or email if you do have another question that you'd like us to help with, or as Matt said earlier, feel free to give us a call if you want some more one-on-one time and explanation on how to use this specifically for yourself. Matt, thank you so much for spending this time with us today and educating us all a little bit more. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great day.